Okay, Simin Kuflam and Vav, Hilchas Lulav, Bashara Minim. So now we get into Hilchas Lulav and other Minim, Ubal Yud Sifim. And I guess because this is Yom Kippur's Kitzur, that's why they had Rahmanas, and they may do it very short. So Aleph, Karnogu Yisrael, Shemishu Kaina Esrig Velulav, Hu Eina Maven. The minig in Klal Yisrael is if somebody buys an Esrig and a Lulav, and he doesn't know the halachas, which is Roiv of Klal Yisrael. That's why you show it to a Moira Hira. Because there's many chiluk yedinim. That's where the minig is to come to show. Yes, but the point is it says only if you don't know. But if you have a squeaky clean esrog and a good lulav, then you don't have to go bother the Moira Hira. Go to Imachalamayit, right? You want to bother.
We don't have to. We want to.
There you go. Well, I tell you, the people that asked today, I say, sorry, you're going to come after Yom Kippur. Fine. V'yesh lahad liknas lulav chadash, and you should try and buy a new lulav. Ki lulav hayavesh ain't kosher ela b'shas hatchak. A dried out lulav is only kosher b'shas hatchak. But lamaisa, a dried out lulav really has to be dried out, and there is. Most of the time, if you have your lulav from the previous year, certainly if you leave it in somewhere cold, will be kosher. They say in
the case in my den. Still, one of them is in the case. It's in the case in my den,
and it's probably kosher l'fatchila.
My wife said something 17 times, and I never moved it.
There you go. Then he has one sitting in his den the whole year.
The other ones I burnt. I missed this one.
They say it might be with Moshe Feinstein that they had for 8 years the lulav hanging in shul on the wall. I think somebody told me that 8 years.
Everything else I burnt, but I missed this one.
Even when the lulav gets fully white, if it doesn't crumble, it's a kosher lulav. I mean, obviously it's machloiksim, but you have to check. You have to, first of all, separate all the way. If you want
to bring it to a chacham,
exactly, bring it to a chacham. So bring it to a chacham. There is a yeshayimrim that if it's no longer green, then it's yavish. But that's a yeshayimrim, right? But other than that, you're going to go with the basic halachas that it has to crumble. No. In Europe, yeah. Shira lulav, that also helped. That probably also helped. Shira lulav, the shira of lulav, she has shidra. The spine, except for the upper leaves, needs to be 4 tefachim. 13 fingers width, shlish gudel, and a third of a fingers with sagi. That's enough, right? So, yeah. Now, just what he's saying here, the Kitzur, and it's not really negeya. I wish I had a lulav. Meaning, you have to look at the spine. We're talking about the spine here, not from the top of the lulav. The top of the lulav is leaves, right? So the 4 tefachim is the actual spine. The part that's thick. And then once it gets to the leaves, that doesn't count. And the bottom also doesn't count. The count starts from where the leaves come out. No, it doesn't. It starts where the leaves start coming out. A lot of times a lulav has. Now, what's in negeya? It's negeya because lulav is supposed to stick a tefach out from the top of the hadassim and the aravas, right? And the rings too, right? So when a tefach below the spine, not a tefach below the top of the lulav.
The small lulavim might not be good.
Right. So the small lulavim can possibly be a problem. But you got to make sure that when it says, so people say, oh, look, I put my hadassim and aravas, a tefach below the top of the lulav. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a tefach below the end of the top of the spine, which is a lot of lulavim, way, way lower, right? Depending on the size of the spine. Starts, I don't know what you call it, starts, but the top, yeah. Base hadas tzarich meshulish. The hadas need to have 3 leaves. The hadas sheyotzim b'mikol kan v'kan gimel olin b'shura achas b'shavet. From each kan, 3 leaves in 1 row equal. Shelo yeh echad gavaya einamach mechaveirav. That one shouldn't be higher or lower than the other. Yeah, right? You're going to have the 3 leaves on the same level. The tzrichen shiyu ha'olim chaypenes eitzai, and Not only that, but the leaves have to be big enough that they cover over the wood that's in between each row of leaves. You want the top of the of each row of hadassim to hit the bottom of the next row. You want that. You don't want to see the what do you call it? The stem. Thank you. You don't want it to see the stem. You want the leaves to be high enough that it goes up till the next row. Each row, you want it to go high enough that it touches the next row. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And the hadassim that they bring from overseas or wherever from far away, that you're going to find them kosher, we have to check them. And somebody who is Yori Devar Hashem should try and buy hadassim that are moist, Yerukim, green, the Shulashim that have three, I think they call them worlds, and beautiful. And the ones that grow in our Medina, you have to make sure that they're not murkub. They make sure that they're not crossbred. You have to also make sure that they didn't grow in a flower pot that didn't have a hole in the bottom, because then that means it didn't grow on the ground. You have to make sure the same thing with lulavim. And if you don't have hadassim that are meshulish, yitel she'ena meshulashim, then you take even ones that don't have, equal leaves around the whole stem. But below yivarach, then you don't make a bracha. The Bekiyim in looking for lulav and esrog, etc., know that hadassim is the most difficult to find kosher. If you're going to look for hadassim that are going to go according to the Mishnah Brura, you're not going to find kosher hadassim, even bisman hazeh. The way to get kosher hadassim, if you got to go either Ramosha Feinstein or the Chazon Ish. Ramosha Feinstein said you just look at it, and if it looks like all three are on the same thing, then you're fine. Chazon Ish says, and Rav Shlomo Zalman says this too, is that the stems don't have to come out from the same spot. Meaning, and there's no pictures in there. So it's called chut hamak. It's basically meaning get a picture of a hadas. Somebody want to AI a picture of a hadas? Basically, when they all three come out from the same, I guess we're not going to learn Shulchan. Okay. That's okay. We'll try with this. I don't know if anyone can see. Right now, you want to hold the bottom of that thing. So if you have, see from here, it looks like all three grow out from the same spot, right? But when you peel back, you're going to see that all three don't grow from the same line. The one is a little higher than the other, one's a little lower than the other. According to the Mishnah Brura, that's no good. Seemingly, according to the Mishnah Brura, it's no good. So if you go with that, you're not going to find. Who said he was? I don't know. Listen, our lulavim and esrogim and hadassim are certainly better than anybody had in Europe. Even the junkiest Siddup is probably better. Correct.
The picture went away.
Ikar adin, according to the Mishnah. Now, what the Chazon Ish says is that, let's say you have one of these, you can't really see. Maybe you could see. Which one? Oh, here, okay. Good, thank you. See, I don't know if you could tell, but if you look at the stems, one looks a little lower than the other. So what the Chazon Ish says, he doesn't really say it, they say it b'shem the Chazon Ish, is that if you take a string and you put it around the hadah, and that string will cross the stem of all three, which means you could have one here, you could have one on the top and one on the, okay, we'll put this away, meaning you have one here and one here, right? But if you draw a line, it goes through both, then that's called chut hamakif, that's considered enough. That is two variations of that, because you could have one here, and then one here. So meaning the top and the bottom don't cross. That's already a bigger kula. Meaning there's three levels where all three if you draw a string around all three, they're supposed to. They're supposed to. But they're not. They're not.
If you draw a string this way.
Right. If you go draw a ring on an angle, exactly. So there's two levels of it. The biggest makel, which I think they say the Chazon Ish, was as long as the string will go across the middle, and the middle one crosses with the top, and the bottom crosses the middle, meaning they're all connected, sort of like a choo-choo train, like as long as there's continuation, that's enough. Others say no, you want to at least have the top and the middle and the bottom somehow intersect. Whatever, his bottom line is if you don't go, so the Makilim say that that's okay also. The Makilim say that's okay. But but if you don't go with this kula, you're not finding Hadassah. I mean, you will, maybe you can look for hours and hours on end. But anyways, okay. We'll stop over there. Everybody should have a Gemara Chatzim Taima and a good yard.
Don't they usually have them in a bag and you can't even open them?
They have them in a bag, they can't open them. But if you look closely, and they can be called Aleph Aleph, they're not going to be fully, they're not going to all grow.
So is there any benefit in getting the super expensive?
I don't know. I have no answer. What are you saying, Avi?
Is there any difference getting like a nickel bag or a dime bag difference? Like, $5 or $10?
Officially, the ones that are Aleph Aleph should be better. Again, you remember, you need to have this for approximately 9-10 inches on 3. Again, the 9, preferably 12, whatever. I'm saying you need to have that. It depends if you're going Chazon Ish not, but I'm saying you need to have 3, all according to the Shabur, all mamish on the same line. Good luck. Good luck.
What do you suggest? Just buy Aleph Aleph? Searching and
No, I think you could buy. You really want to know the truth? You could buy Z, level Z, or level tough. And because if you're going to rely on the makilim, then that's
Well, that was my question.
9 inches that are good.
Anyway, so
the
why
Aleph Olives do look better. They look better. The Aleph Olives. They do. The leaves look better. It's another $5.
You're getting ripped off on the S136. Go cheap on the Hadassah.
So just buy it when someone says it's kosher and don't really look at it too carefully.
Well, it wouldn't hurt you to look at it. It wouldn't hurt you to look. But
my kid spent $80 on a whole set per person in Israel. These things must be like.
All right.
$80 sounds expensive in Israel. Israel is about a third of the price.
What are you saying?
I understand. What am I supposed to do? Tell him to give him back? He's not going.
Or you can go to Williamsburg and buy the Hadassah that they sell that dafka not from Eretz Yisrael.
I understand.
$45 a piece.
My kid spent for 6 people was $500.
That's true. Yeah. Anyways, all right, fine. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, Jesse, what am I supposed to do now?
What did you do?
Nothing. My kid decided to go get super mahudar, blah, blah, blah stuff in Israel. I thought, oh, fine, I'll save a few bucks. No.
Well, tell him he made that decision. He pays for it.
That does not work.
I got nothing for you. Good luck.
Yeah, let's see you do that to your kids, big talker.
Okay, I'll tell my girls. Okay, so you know what? So you got a mitzvah for supporting a Yid in Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Tell him he gets no replacement parts. Take care of it. Tell him he gets no replacement parts. He's got to take care of it.
Yeah, no replacement parts, exactly.
Laila Tov, good luck.
Yeah, listen, ideally I'd want to hit him over the head with it, but I don't think it would do any good.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
Laila Tov.
Okay.